With the rising sun and some freshly fallen snow, we set off. There was a period last night where the snow was falling so hard that I was worried that I might have had to cancel this. But fortunately, it didn't snow that much, and we're blessed with a beautiful sunrise this morning. And it's surprisingly warmer than most days, and the view is gorgeous to see. We got really lucky, and we were able to catch some inversion clouds while we were ascending, and I thought that looked really cool. I've heard many stories from other trekkers about this pass. Most say it's the hardest of the three, but after about an hour to an hour and a half of trekking, it doesn't feel that difficult to me. I'm trying to reserve judgment until later, but right now it definitely isn't living up to its reputation for me. Did I just say that? Scratch that. The last leg of the hike was brutal. You pretty much had to boulder your way up to the top. I can completely understand now why people say this is the most difficult pass out of the three to cross. The trail did get very narrow at points, and there wasn't much room to walk. If there was heavy snow, I can totally understand how easily it would be for someone to accidentally slip and fall. Granted, with the verticality and steepness aside,
That wasn't so hard.
I didn't have much trouble ascending. I didn't find it as tiring as I thought it would be, but after trekking for over 20 days at this point, I think it's safe to say my body has gotten used to this level of trekking. My breathing, on the other hand, I feel like I'm perpetually out of breath while hiking. Like, I'm always breathing very heavily. But hey, it's working for me, so I guess I can't complain, right? When we make it to the top, I was blown away by how beautiful it all was. I spent an hour up there just taking it all in and enjoying the view and watching the clouds wisp by the tops of the mountains. At the same time, I was absolutely filled with joy knowing that I was able to say I completed all three of the passes. That even with a few setbacks and a lot of uncertainty as to whether I could even do this specific pass, I was able to make it to the top here, and I felt a sense of accomplishment that is really hard to describe, but all I can say was that I was totally ecstatic. Making our way down, I became more aware of how dangerous this pass could be. We needed to use crampons while we descended because the snow that was on the path was really slippery. If you don't know what crampons are, they're pretty much ice chains for your feet. The crampons made everything feel really secure and safe, and I didn't once think I would lose grip, though I could totally imagine how easily it would be to slip and fall if you didn't have them or couldn't see the path. We eventually make it to the bottom of the ridge, and I stupidly had the expectation that it would be just another downward descent. Well, boy was I wrong. Once we finish descending, we get hit with this giant mound we need to climb. In theory, it's not a difficult thing to climb, but when you've been descending for the past hour and mentally all you've been thinking about is how you're not going to need to ascend again, it was a bit of a bummer, that's all I can say. As we get to the top of the mound, I realized that we are going to need to cross a glacier to get to Le Boucher. I, for one, found that to be extremely awesome and instantly got excited by it. My guide, on the other hand, wasn't so much. He actually looked visibly worried at times, though it could have also been the wind hitting him in the face, causing him to make that expression. Crossing the glacier ended up being a boulder scramble. There were a few flags planted in various spots, letting you know which direction you should go, but aside from that, it was pretty much a free-for-all on how you got across. While all I could think about at this point was having some food and coffee, I was having a total blast, and I don't know, climbing across a glacier like this and just kind of having to bushwhack your way around, I think is really fun. After crossing the glacier, it was smooth sailing from there. The walk to Le Boucher felt like a victory lap. I was so proud that I completed the 3 passes and was reflecting on just how much of a struggle it was to get to this pass. There were moments where I just thought it wouldn't be possible because the weather was just so bad all the time. At the time of filming this, the rainy season was getting ready to start, so the weather was only going to get more unpredictable. So let's just say I'm really happy that I was able to do this. Once we make it to Le Boucher, we have some celebratory coffee, and then we prepare for a return to Namche for our 3rd and final time of this trek. So after 20 days, now we're actually making our descent. So we're going to Dingbulje.
Yeah, Djibouti.
Dibulje.
Yeah.
I can never get the names right. It's gonna be an easy 5-hour walk.
Yeah.
And since we're descending, it's gonna be super chill, and I'm really happy about it. I find it crazy how lucky I got with some of these weather conditions because
If it was cloudy like this the entire time, I don't know what I would do. I'd be so upset. It's so foggy. You can't even see Everest Base Camp anymore.
Day in the mountain.
Oh, so it's a memorial for people that died. Oh, wow. Are these all memorials then? That's crazy because the last time I was here, it was so covered in snow that I couldn't even see this. We just walked right by it. Yeah, the last time I was here, there was so much snow, you couldn't see anything. That was surprisingly easy. Even though I did slip a little bit at the end there. So I know I walked into this village earlier, but it doesn't look familiar at all. I guess that's what happens when everything gets covered in snow. It's really tough to tell. So the sun's starting to come back out, and with that, it's starting to get hot again, which you would think that being so high up in elevation that it's a lot colder, but in reality, it's really not that bad. Or maybe I've just gotten used to it after being here for so long. Looks like we got stuck in traffic again. I always find it interesting walking by a caravan of yaks. Also, it's apparently statistically the most dangerous thing you can do here with an animal is walk by them. Because if for some reason they attack you, that's the most likely way you'll get hurt. Seems like today is yak central. Everywhere we go, we're just seeing yak caravans. We made it back to Namche, and I cannot begin to describe how happy I am to be back. I am so ready to be done with here. I'm tired of sleeping in a sleeping bag. I am tired of wearing the same clothes. I'm tired of having this cough that won't go away. So yeah, it just feels really good, and I feel really accomplished that I was able to do all 3 passes and see Everest Base Camp this trip, because the last few days the weather has been such shit that I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to do them anymore because, yeah, the season seems to be coming to an end. So I'm really happy about that.
The next morning, we were up early to begin our descent from Namche down to Lukla, and right off the bat, we were greeted with some really moody fog. The descent down was overall quick and painless. Since the season was coming to an end, the traffic was pretty much non-existent.
This is probably the sketchiest bridge I've been on so far. There's the bridge you normally cross. And look at it. like overrun with bushes. It's pretty cool.
Moving on. It started raining while we were trekking, so we stopped for some tea while we hopefully wait for the rain. Unsuccessful at that, we leave and are immediately bombarded by a horde of donkeys carrying propane on their backs. Shortly after, we hit one of our last bouncy bridges of the trek and almost get sandwiched by a donkey. Continuing onwards in the rain, as time passed, the rain was starting to soak through my clothes and things are starting to get a bit miserable. While this video is only showing the more interesting moments of this journey, the hike actually took around 5 hours, and most of that time we were walking in the rain.
It's been raining nonstop all day, but it's really pretty.
After spending a bit of time walking through an enchanted forest and admiring its beauty, we make it to Lukla, where it was a race to get on the plane and head out of here before the weather turned even worse. When I was sitting on the plane, all I could think about was how grateful and fortunate I was for this experience. Trekking like this was something I had never done before, and had always dreamed of doing this. Being up here challenged me both mentally and physically, and I can honestly say that I grew up a lot as a person because of my time up here. If you've watched all these videos up until this one, I want to say thanks for tuning in. It was a blast making this series, and I learned a lot. While I know this series wasn't perfect, it gave me a bunch of ideas for projects I want to do in the future, and things I know I need to improve on in later videos. If you want to see those whenever they get released, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching.